Hey music fans! As a roadie, I had this great opportunity to tour with all these bands. I wrote a book about my experiences on the road, and it was the #1 new release on Amazon and Bios, and it's now sold millions of copies on Kindle. I'm Joel Roadie, and this is my podcast, Party Like a Rock Star. Let's bring you some flavor then. Let's give it a... Have we heard of a performer named Edu? It's A-D-O. I always pronounce her name wrong. A-D-O.
No.
This is a special one for me because not only did I work for Stone Temple Pilots, I'm a big fan of the band. When I began to work for STP, it was my first gig. Steve was the manager, and so I always remember him fondly. He was cool, man. He was always nice to me, and I was the bottom guy on the totem pole, and he was, of course, the top dude. And so it's good to reconnect with people. Anyway, I did reconnect with him recently. I asked him if he wanted to come on the podcast. He was all into it. And I hope you guys like his reactions. He's a really cool cat. He's a good dude for real. Some of these went a little longer. I like people to get to know the guests a little bit. I think it makes it more fun. I went a little bit deeper than usual maybe because some of the stuff intrigued me. I wanted to know about STP's origins and whatnot, and so if you're STP fans, it's great. If not, I put chapters there and you guys can skip through the stuff. If you're just not interested and you just want to see the straight reaction, you can still do so. Either way, I hope you enjoy it. I also want to throw a shout out, a thank you to the people here at not just Tokyo Treat, but their sister company, Sakura. You can find Tokyo Treat products at tokyotreat.com or Sakura products at sakura.co. They always think of me and they send me all these wonderful treats, and why I like it is it's just different stuff for my palate. It's different things for me to try, and they include tea, by the way. I'm a big tea drinker. I love tea, and so it means a lot to me that they would not send me one box but two to try all this wonderful stuff. So thank you very, very much for thinking of me. Guys, let's jump into this. Let's see what Steve Stewart, it's so cool for me to have this guy on, thinks about your favorite band. Let's do this. Okay, so this is the performer Edu. You will not see what she looks like. She hides it. You actually can't find what she looks like online. She's very good at it. So it's difficult to see. So she's performing in a cage, actually. So we'll see if she breaks out of that cage for you. As you were saying that you felt with Bandmate, there was a little bit of constraint. So I'm intrigued to see. You also mentioned with Bandmate how much you like Misa's bass playing. And I think the bass player here kicks ass. I really do. So this is a live performance. The track's called Unravel. And you can let me know what you think.
All right.
教えてほしいと遊ぶ仕組みが僕の中に誰か夢の壊れた横の世界で君が何も見えずに 世代狂える震えないあなたを揺れた歪んだ世界に叶う僕は好きとって見えなくなって見つめないで僕のこと見つめないで誰かが描いた世界の中であなたを傷つけたくはないよ覚えてて僕の魚も てしまった彼らに分かったいつか我々二人が滅びるこうするこうせない震えの群れがあなたを怪我す愛や夢というか世界にただ僕は突き止めて見えなくて見つけないで僕のこと見つめないで誰かが仕組んだ孤独な穴に未来が重くてしまう前に思い出して僕のこと鮮やかなまま忘れないで忘れないで忘れないで忘れないで変わってしまったことにアドバイス変えられないことだけプリーズ覚えてて僕のこと教えて教えて僕の中に誰がいるの
Genuinely intrigued. What do you have to say?
Yeah, I mean the cage thing to me it takes away. Back to being constrained. That's literally being constrained. I'd love to see the emotion on her face. I'd love to see, I think I get it's the performance art aspect of it, but for me, I would go to see someone let it all out versus holding it in. So, but vocally, she's amazing. Thought the band was a little low in the mix. Thought the vocals were a little hot, but you're right. The bass player is amazing. Crowd loves it. You see the lights. Those are basically the J-pop, K-pop $40 lights that you buy. Yeah, really, really interesting. It's a little jazzier mixed with some metal elements. I wish I knew what she was saying, but again, yeah, I don't know. It's hard for me to. It'd be hard to watch for like an hour. I think someone in a cage that's not lit. You can see her form and you can hear her, but I don't know. It felt like that was a physical barrier for me.
Interesting. Okay. See, the idea is the intrigue, but other guests I've brought on said, okay, the intrigue's there. Now I want to know, like, let's just do it. Like, you're really talented.
Yes.
Quit all the stuff. Just come out. Just do it. Just do it.
Yes.
And, I think it was Delana. I brought on Delana. I don't know if you know Delana. And she said she loved it because you're not looking at what I look like. You're looking at what I sound like. So that was from her perspective. But I figured,
for a woman, I could see that, right? Most guys don't get that kind of attention. Women, I'm sure all day long, it's like, stop looking at me. So
yeah,
I get that. But if you're going to be on stage in front of 10,000 people,
yeah. I mean, you're already there, so
you could not tour, right? You could be a musician that just makes music that goes on the radio or goes on Spotify or gets distributed, and you never have to show yourself. But if you go into a live, it's her business, obviously. But if you go into a live performance situation where you're putting yourself in front of people, literally, I don't know. I think you should show some more of yourself. And if you don't want to, then don't go on tour. Just make music. That's totally fine too. But do whatever you want. I do. I mean, it's for me. I would want to connect more. I think the reason people go to live shows is to connect better with the artist because they hear their music, on the radio through their device, whatever. And I get to go see somebody live. That experience should be more communicative to me. And maybe I'm in the minority.
I think it's true. Yeah, I think it is true. That's why people go to one of the reasons they go to shows. So a question. So I presumably she's a young lady, and a lot of my friends have kids. Now, my friend's daughter was in 5th grade, and she came out with her girlfriends, and she said, I have a question you need to ask every guest. And it's actually proven to be one of my favorite questions, and I like to ask people because I never know the answer. Her question, bear in mind, from a 5th grader, was, when did you first feel famous? And so I ask you, Steve, when did you first feel famous? You don't have to take it literally if you choose not to. But when was there a moment in your career, an encapsulation of something that really made you feel good about what you were doing and the way you chose to direct your life?
Yeah, I'm not famous in any respect, but I think the gist of that question
I got pretty excited when I saw you. There's some fame there.
And me to you, Joel, because you're exciting to see too. I gotta say, it's probably more feeling accomplished than feeling fame, because fame is, like you said, someone's like, and what's your, I would probably say there was a point where, and it wasn't even me, it was the performances. I've started with Stone Temple Pilots when they were basically playing in little clubs in and out of LA. And yeah, there was a core group of fans, but at some point you see that change into strangers, right? You're playing an arena in Kansas City or somewhere, and it's people that you have no connection with, people that don't know the band from anywhere, and they're physically moved. And I remember one of the things I did was just walk around the house, and the band really didn't see a lot of this. I don't think, it's hard to speak for them, but when you're on stage, one, you're focused on performing. Two, you've got lights in your eyes, and there's physical barriers, and you're kind of isolated from the actual performance or the fans at those bigger performances, and you don't really see what I saw. I'd walk around in the barrier, I'd walk around in the rafters, I'd walk out front, and there were a lot of people that were really moved by the music, and that was when I saw that, and I saw that this band that I helped, kind of push forward career-wise, was really making an emotional connection with people that we had no other connection with. That was a shocking revelation, and it moved me, because I realized, from something that started very small, now it was kind of out of our hands. It was becoming mainstream, and people were being affected by it in parts of the world that we'd never been to before, had no other connection with. And it's really emotional. And there were people that would, and we'd see fan mail back at that point, and comments back that, this song like really meant something to me, or took me through a dark point in my life. And I know, again, from the artist, it's sometimes hard to see that and get what that is. But from me, who's doing the business stuff, I'm like, wow, that was really meaningful to those folks. That meant the fact that you came there, performed this song that touched them in a certain way. I think that was one point. And just as I was saying this, I was thinking of another time. I was walking down a street in Sydney, Australia, and I heard a band playing Plush. It was a cover band. It was like some bar band at a hole in the wall in Sydney, and I thought, wow, okay. I mean, there's again, starting at this little kernel, and now it's played halfway around the world, and other people are enjoying this music. How did that happen, right? What were all those things that went into building that? And it's not fame for me. It's just a sense of, wow, I had something to do with that, and can see something from 0 to 100, and how that came out, and it's touching people in places that you'd never think or never been before. So
Yeah,
I think that would probably be it's amazing to see that scale. And I don't think a lot of people. There's a lot of managers that hop on bands when they're already at a certain level, and there's a lot of managers that start with bands that don't go anywhere, right? And it's that full continuum from 0 to 100 that I was fortunate enough to be able to experience, and it's pretty rare, I think. And again, I was with them in a van driving around from club to club, and I was with them in a jet flying from stadium to stadium. So that whole scale, and you've seen it, from the stage side. There's a continuum there, and there's a way that you see it move people that you would never imagine. I think that's probably my answer to her.
I love that answer. I think it's perfect. And that's great, because it's so poetic, but it gives you meaning, it gives you worth. And I think it's something special. It's I did something of value. And it's nice.
Yeah, I
So
hope the band can see that, and sometimes they can, and not just this band, but some artists, they're and I get it. They're focused on their art, and the fan experience is kind of removed from that. And some artists totally get it. Some artists, I mean, I think Grohl, for example, he's very into what his fans like, and he connects at a very everyday guy level, right? There's very little arrogance or anything. I mean, my experience with him, I saw him on the street here in Studio City. I just waved at him through the window, and he waved back. Hey man, what's up? And who does that, right? Very few artists at that level are going to take the time to say hi to anybody. Shouldn't say that. A lot of them do, but to see that your work has connected with somebody and moved somebody, that's a big deal. That's a big deal.
That's cool. All right, let's jump into one more if we can. Have we heard of a band called Love Bites?
No, but isn't there a movie called that?
Probably there's some
bad vampire movie. No, I don't know. I don't think so.
Okay, let's jump into Love Bites. You can let me know what you think.
Okay.
Hey, the podcast is over. What are you still doing here? Well, while you're here, like and subscribe. Thanks.